What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? What's good? Happy Wednesday. What's up? Y'all know what it is. Gonna drop in the comments where you are joining in from. Happy Wednesday. I have a special guest for you guys. Jason, I'm gonna let you in 2 seconds. What's up, everybody? Happy Wednesday. Drop it down below. Let's get it. Houston. So tonight we're gonna do something a little bit different. Dothan, Fort Lauderdale. Let me go ahead and let my guest in because I hate to have people waiting. I'm a very respecter of people's time. All right, so we're doing it different tonight, y'all. Lagos, Nigeria, England was good. Hello, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good.
All right. I was just saying hey to everybody. Thank you for being on time. I'm like a minute late. I respect people's time, so I appreciate you so much. But I just wanted to tell everybody hey, because they joining in like so. Anyway, hey everybody, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy Wednesday. I hope everybody's doing fantastic. As y'all can see, we switching it up a little bit this Wednesday because we just want to do a little things a little bit different. God told me to start inviting people on, so here we go. Now I got a special guest, and listen, guys. So this is my first time meeting him, just like some of you are first time meeting him. Okay, so my spirit was just led to invite him to have a conversation with me. Let's go live. And, you know, I would never bring anybody on my platform who I didn't feel like was being led by the Spirit and who wasn't going to touch some souls and just, you know, bring more people to God. So I don't know much about you, but I'm going to let you introduce yourself and we'll get into it.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jason Jackson. Jason Jackson Jr. I guess I got to add that part of my name now. I currently live in Houston, Texas. I'm from East Texas, but I moved here for work and I guess we probably will get more into that later. I don't work there anymore, and I just felt like God called me away from it, and you know, He really led me down a path to where I had to solely depend on Him, and that's where I am right now, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing.
All right, so I love that. Congratulations on whatever you're doing. I'm sure you know you'll talk about it a little bit. So I'm introducing myself to your audience because they may not know me. So I'm Samantha. I am a business coach. I actually help those that are called into ministry to get clarity and really just increase their sales. So, and I really kind of got a similar story where I'm from Atlanta and I've been there all my life, but just recently, about maybe 8 months ago, I was called to move to Wisconsin out of all places. Like, never even knew where Wisconsin was on the map until God told me to come. So I was called here to build a ministry in a church, and so that's what I'm doing. I'm building it out, and you know, it is what it is. It's a lot of work. It's not easy at all, but anyway. So I appreciate you, Jason. I appreciate you for joining. I'm grateful for you. But tonight, y'all, we talking about pride. So pride. It's like one of those sneaky sins that come up, and most of the time we don't even know we operate in pride.
Right.
Like, so I wanted to talk about it because it's one of those things that will truly block your blessings. It'll prevent you from hearing God's voice clearly. It can hinder you from, you know, your prayers being answered, like all of that. So I wanted to just dive into it. But so Jason, like I told you, like it's just gonna be kind of like a conversation, you know what I'm saying? Whatever is comfortable for you. If something's not comfortable, just let me know. If y'all have questions, just drop them in the chat and we will definitely try to answer them. But let's get into it. So first of all, I want to know, like, do you consider yourself a prideful person?
naturally in the flesh, yes, but having gone through what I've went through to get to where I am now, I had to, deny my flesh in order to kill that pride. So naturally, of course I am. Like, of course I want to have, feel like I'm important and feel like I'm, somebody and all that stuff. But I feel like God exalted me because I had to kill that pride in order to get to where I am.
So tell me, like, when you say were you humbled by God that made you kill the pride, or you just was like, you know what, let me sit myself down somewhere because this ain't.
Nah, I definitely got humbled by God. And it wasn't fun. Like, humble yourself in the sight of the Lord and he will lift you up. He gives you the opportunity to humble yourself because whenever he does it, it's not going to be fun for you. And it definitely wasn't fun. It wasn't that I was trying to portray myself to be anything that I wasn't, but I was just proud of where I was, and not proud in a, like, I'm enjoying this type of way. I was proud in the aspect of I'm here and y'all aren't. And so God is like, all right, I'm gonna show you that you're gonna be exactly where they are. So he took me to the lowest of lows in my life, like, and it humbled me, and I'm like, all right, God, keep me humble because I do not want to go through that ever again.
I know that's right.
Yep.
So can you tell us a little bit more about, like, what was the experience?
Yeah. So 3 months ago, February 6th, 2023, is actually, like, I just started making videos and stuff like that. So everything is still pretty new to me. It's pretty fresh. And I was going through some things financially. I quit my job that called me to move here. That was the reason why I moved here in the first place. And I completely did it on my own. It was nothing with God. Like, I didn't consult God about anything.
Okay.
And it didn't work out. And I constantly kept hearing God tell me that it wasn't for me. Like, this is not where I want you to be. And so I listened and I quit. I'm like, all right, cool. I got my real estate license. I'm just going to work in real estate. And I did that without God too. Like, I got my license without consulting God. That didn't work out. And now I'm sitting in Houston, Texas, one of the most expensive places in the world, in America, and I don't have any income. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. So I had recently just got out of a relationship not too long ago in December. And so at that time it was pretty fresh, and it was nothing that I wanted, but I heard about that person going back into some things that they had got delivered from whenever I was with them, and then, like, they went back into it. And that hurt me because I'm like, man, it's my fault. Like, I feel like it was all on me at that point. So out the kindness of my heart, allegedly, I was like, you know what, I'm willing to get back with them if that means that they can get on the right track again, even if it's something that I don't want, because I didn't want it, but I just didn't want to see them in that position. Didn't work. Like, got completely denied, completely rejected, and that hurt in and of itself. I'm like I this was part of my pride. That was part of my pride. I had never been rejected before, and then it was like, okay, now I just got rejected. That hurt, and now I gotta kind of humble myself in that way. So I'm crying and I'm going through it and everything, and I just didn't know what to do with myself. And now here I am 3 months later, and I'm like, man, I'm so glad that I went through everything that I went through.
Yeah. So would you say, like, you pretty kind of like new in your walk with God? Like, how?
I wasn't new. I had been a believer my whole life, and I gave my life to Christ on October 3rd, 2013, but I actually took it serious October 3rd, 2019, which I didn't realize was exactly 6 years apart.
Wow.
Still, like, a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
And so I was familiar with who he was, but I wasn't committed. I was just.
What made you take it? This is, like, not even my questions, but what made you take it serious?
I realized that I needed God, and I don't feel like you know that you need God until God is all you have, And I was placed in that position, and I was like, I gotta give it all to him.
Yeah, that sounds like my story. Like, I mean, I never really included God before now. It was like, girl, bye. Like, what do you? But nothing was working out. Like, none of my relationships. It was just horrible. So, yeah. And I'm the same way. Like, I gave my life over some years ago. But then I finally was like, you know what? I'm still not doing right. I was still, like, teeter-tottering. I was on both sides of the fence, living in the world. In 2019, I actually was like, enough is enough. Like, girl, God humbled me for sure. Like, it was one of those moments. He told me leave my job, and I'm thinking like you. Like, our stories are similar. I'm thinking like you. Like, I got this. I was doing credit repair at the time, and I was doing pretty good. And thinking that's why I was leaving my job. But no, God had other plans. Left the job, and I'm like, I'm good. You know what I'm saying? Out here flaunting and flexing, and girl, bye. And God was like, nope, I'm gonna make you sit down. That's why I titled this, Go Sit Down and Swallow Your Pride. Like, I've had to take some humble pie for sure. Like, I mean, I was in a place where I had no money. Like straight up, I was, I left my job, but I was thinking that I was gonna be doing credit repair, but I wasn't or whatever. And then had no money. I ended up with a guy who was totally not for me. I was just with him for money. Like, and I'm not ashamed to admit this because it's true. Like, and so many people struggle with this, But yeah, we ended up getting engaged, and my pride would not allow me to let him know, like, no, I'm not feeling you like this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, this ain't it. And I stayed in that situation way longer than I should have because of the money, whatever, and pride. And that's that. And so, yeah, but God, I left him and I was just broke. And that was just like a very humbling moment for me. And it was just like, I'm tired of my life being like this. Like, I'm tired of like going in circles constantly. Like, and that's like one of the downfalls of pride. Like, you just constantly on a repetitive cycle, constantly. So anyway, I didn't mean to tell I like to talk. So
that's good. Good. I respect.
This is where we at. We're just having a conversation. But so what would you say what lessons do you feel like you learned from that experience?
The biggest lesson that I feel like I learned is don't ever think that it can't be you. Like, I remember seeing other people in a situation that I was in, and even the situation that I'm in now, like where my life was. I remember being down and like remembering people who were down, and like I was like actually depressed. Like, I can actually say I was depressed. So if anybody on here, if you depressed, I know exactly how you felt. So I remember like people being depressed, and I was like, wow, you really let yourself get that low, blah, 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 over a person, and blah, like whatever. And I'm like, that's pride talking. I'm like, okay, now I'm there. Okay, I'm not going to talk about nobody else, because I feel like whenever you truly do have that humbling experience with pride or whatever it is, God allows you to experience that so that you can have compassion for somebody else who's going through that, because you know exactly how it feels. So having that was one side of it, and then the other side is like where my life has where God has placed me now. Like, I remember seeing people like with XYZ amount of followers or doing this with their life, and I'm like, man, like, people where I'm from don't do that, but that's cool. I wish that could be me one day or something. And now it's like, don't think that it can't be you, with God especially.
Yeah. So I noticed that I didn't even follow you. Shame on me, because I'm going to tell everybody else to follow you, but I will. But I believe that you're kind of like coming into this influencer space, right? Where it's just like you're following this kind of just growing out of nowhere, and how are you in that space of remaining humble, because it elevates like this. Like, God took me from, I remember last year, I want to say, I don't even know what month it was, but it was literally last year, and I was at like 30-something thousand followers, no lie. And we talking about in a year and some change, I'm at 200 plus, and it's like it's, you know what I'm saying? But one thing I always, every day, I repent for pride, because I'm like, it's such a sneaky sin. Like, I don't ever want to be in a position where I feel like that's important. Like, I'm grateful for it, but it's like, I don't want to be humbled by God. Like, I'm like, God, keep me humble, because I do not want you to humble me. So now that you're coming into that space where like your Instagram is just taking off, your social media is, you know what I'm saying, blowing up, like, how are you remaining humble?
I feel like understanding that, okay, so 3 months ago on TikTok. I think TikTok has like 200K now. 3 months ago, I had 300 followers. And then like even on here, the growth, and I've just been posting for like a month and a half or whatever. I don't look at it as like these people like me, like, oh yeah, they like what I'm saying, let me just keep putting stuff out that they like. I view it as God is saying, I trust you enough to lead these people. So I'm like, all right, let me make sure that I'm doing what I need to do to lead somebody else in the right direction, and not like try to make them like me for what I'm doing, you know? So, and especially being 21 years old, like a lot of this stuff is this is everything that some people dream of. Like they want a lot of followers, and I wanted it too. And now that I have it, it's like, that doesn't move me like it used to. Like having a lot of followers doesn't move me. Seeing the right person do what they're supposed to do and live for God, that's what moves me.
Sure. Yep. I agree 100%. You only 21?
Yeah, I'm 21.
Gosh, you are young.
Yeah.
No shade. But no, I thought you were a little bit older. But anyway, yeah, I agree. Like, and people always like, you know, you got so many followers, and I'm just like, my thing is, how many of those followers am I able to lead to God?
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how many souls can I change? How many, like, that doesn't matter to me. And I try not to allow that platform to get to my head, because that's when it's like, it becomes an idol.
Yes.
You know? And people really look at it that way. Like you said, people think it's so important that you got this amount of followers. And I'm just like, but how many of them doing right?
Exactly.
How many of them really want to live for God, you know? So anyway, but how do you feel like your pride has actually hindered your walk with God? And then second part, how do you feel like it's hindered your relationship with others?
First part is hindered my relationship with God, because at one point I remember feeling like I'm already like close enough to God. Like I know everything that I need to know, and you know, I didn't want to take advice from even like people that were younger than me. So teenagers and stuff like that, I'm like, I already know, you can't tell me anything that I don't already know. And that was like, I feel like that goes hand in hand. Like I looked at them as less than, and then I looked at God like, I already know everything that I can know about you. And it's so much more still to be known, and that I didn't know from people who follow me and they comment on my videos and stuff. And I'm like I don't ever want to look at anyone as like a fan of mine. I had it in my bio for the longest, and then I recently just changed it because I don't know, but people just, I don't know if they couldn't read it or what, but they were like, why are you saying that you don't have family? But it said, I don't have fans, I have distant family. Like, even if I don't know you, I don't look at you as a fan. I see you as like, you're somebody that I just haven't met yet, but we still in the same family. So it's taking a toll on me, my younger self. But now I gotta mature a little bit and use what God has given me to glorify Him.
So, but how do you feel like it's actually like hindered like relationships with other people?
Yeah, I feel like with other people, just thinking that I'm better than them because of a particular status, or because when I was in college, I played college football, and I used to often use the hashtag student athlete just to try to put myself above those who weren't. Like whenever I first got to college, I was like, yeah, I played football in college, whatever. And I feel like that pride was just trying to make my ego speak instead of, you know, my character. And I mean, it's a testament to your character. Anything that you say out of pride is just your character saying that you're not strong enough yet.
It is.
So I tried to put myself above others, and I really had to get humble right there.
Well, that sounds good. I don't know if people like, you know, even understand what pride actually is. Like, it's like, you know, like if you anybody on here ever had like a job, and then somebody asks you to do something that you feel like is less than you. Like, and I gave that example because I was there. Like, I used to be real prideful. And I used to have a job working at Blockbuster. I'm telling my age. You probably don't even know about Blockbuster. But anyway, and I was like an assistant manager, and the manager asked me once to clean the bathroom, and I was like, "Who's gonna do that?" No, but and just little things like that. Like, and like I said, some people may not even know. Like, pride comes from when you put yourself above God, when you put others above God. Well, you putting yourself above God, and you are, too prideful to apologize or to accept criticism, or I don't know. I'm just giving examples because I want people to really understand how sneaky it is. Because you may not even feel like you're doing wrong.
Right.
You may not even feel like it's a sin. You may not even feel like it's against God, because you're like, well, I mean, I don't want to clean the toilet. Like real talk.
Right.
You was finna say something?
I think a lot of times, like, that comes with something that comes with pride is if serving is below you, then leading is beyond you.
Oh, for sure. That's
like,
good. I like that.
If you can't serve anybody.
You said if serving is below you, then leading is beyond you.
Yes.
Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna take that. Like, if serving is below, leading. I know that's right.
Yeah, I had to learn that the hard way.
Yeah, I think I have too. I can for sure say I have. Because, yeah. All right, so tell me about a time that you've allowed your pride to get in the way. And I might have asked this in a different way, and it blocked or delayed your blessings. Like, you can specifically remember how it got in the way and the blessings that it actually blocked. Ooh.
Yeah, my senior year of college, so last semester, the December semester, fall semester, I was mentoring a bunch of guys, like, as far as football players, like, just teaching them what to do and what this play means, how to carry yourself, and all of this stuff as an athlete, with a kind of the light on you a little bit. And there was one point where I had got so full of myself, and I was in a position where I was supposed to be, as far as on the defense, I was supposed to be that guy. At one, people like, we come to you if we need to understand what this play is. I'm coming to you, and I'm trying to figure it out. And my pride got in the way whenever I started neglecting people's help. And I didn't want to serve anybody. I'm like, oh, I already know this. And I felt like they became competition to myself. I was like, nah, I'm not helping them, because if I give them the upper hand, if I tell them this, they may have the upper hand on me. When that wasn't the case. And I ended up getting humbled by not starting anyways. Like I never got to be that guy because of my pride. And I didn't realize it until the end of that season. And it was like, that's when I figured out that quote: if serving is below you, leading is beyond you.
Yeah.
Yep.
So you weren't even able to start.
Nope.
So at that time, did you realize what it was, or you was just like, man, whatever?
I was playing the blame game, and everybody was too, and they were influencing it. I didn't have anybody to really tell me like no, this on you, and not blaming them, because I didn't tell them the full story. So that was pride again. Like, I didn't want to tell them, well, I did do this and this is what caused it, blah blah blah. And so I was just trying to play the blame game to make sure that I didn't have all the fire on me at one time.
Accountability.
Right. Exactly.
Accountability. That is exactly what the Holy Spirit just dropped on my spirit. But accountability is the first, like, when you start holding yourself accountable, I think that's when you really start growing as a person.
Yeah.
Instead of pointing the finger, placing blame, what fault do I have in it? You know, and it's at that point where I think you start swallowing your pride a little bit, and you're like, I know I did something too. I was wrong. So, well, that's good. So, tell me, like, as you grow as a person with social media influence and just in your relationship with God, how do you feel like, what ways do you feel like you're still prideful?
As a speaking from the social media aspect of things, first, sometimes I do have to humble myself and like just get off the internet. If I'm sitting down and I'm like trying to develop this message that I want people to hear, and then I put it out there and it's like, okay, it didn't perform the way that I wanted it to. And I'm like I just worked so hard for this, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get the result that I wanted. So, of course, it's like discouraging for a minute, but then I'm like, okay, who were you doing it for? Like, were you doing it for yourself or were you doing it for God? Like, do you want the approval of people or do you want the approval of God for it? And so, and then as far as just me personally, just wanting like what I see instead of what I have, like looking at what I don't have.
Gosh.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I mean, like that God told me that this morning, like straight up, like he been putting that message on my spirit so heavy. And cause I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You good.
Go ahead. You go ahead.
So like seeing that, I know, and people tell me all the time, like, you 21, you got time, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I want it right now. Like, I want to get to that level right now. And I remember thinking, like, once I get to this amount of followers, then I'll have this amount of money or be able to do this type of stuff. And it's like, no. Like, and it's humbling because God is telling me that my character isn't there yet. Like, if he gave it, my talent could get me there, but my character won't keep me there.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. And that's what a lot of people don't fail to understand. Like, you have to become who you want to be first. Like, you know, like you praying for these things. And I always tell people, like, stop praying for things that you're not willing to do. Yeah. Like, the more when you pray for all this influence and you pray to be successful, you pray, you know, that God use you, he's going to use you. Like, and he's going, but it's never going, typically it doesn't come the way we expect it to. Yeah. And then, you know, it does make us humble ourselves, because I was doing the same thing. I was in my closet this morning and I was just like, God, like, when you gonna show up? Like, what's up? Like, I'm obedient. I'm reading my word. I'm faithful. I'm fasting. You know, like, what's good? You know what I'm saying? And God just brought it to me so heavy and was like, listen, don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. Just because the blessing don't look the way you think it should look, don't mean that you ain't being blessed. Yeah. Everything that look like good, everything that look good ain't always me. Yeah. And everything, you know what I'm saying, that look bad ain't necessarily always the devil either. And he broke it down to me like that, because he's like, because one of my things is I really want to like shift the bloodline for my kids. Like, so I have 2 girls, and, you know, I just want to be able to transfer my thinking, not just my wealth, not just my business, not just success, but I want to transfer my thinking down to them. I want them to have a devoted relationship with God. Like, and God he revealed to me this morning, like, Samantha, listen, like, you don't even realize that your oldest daughter she's reading her word now. Like, she wasn't doing this a couple of months ago. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't, and she's wanting to read with you. She wants to do fasting with you. She wants to pray with you. Like, and then my baby girl, we prayed on the phone last night, and it was like, I stretched her to, you know what I'm saying, pray more. She prays every day, but she says she always prays the same prayers. And I was just like, well, we gotta, you know, let's stretch it. Nothing's wrong with that. I'm grateful you do. But in that moment, like this morning, God literally dropped that on me today. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, humble yourself. Like, who is that? Who is the guy that sing that song? Be humble. Oh, like, I don't know, but yeah, like, humble yourself. And it's like, it was just so in line with your story. That's why I was like, oh, like, so God has really like been on me about that myself. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, as I grow, don't miss what I have because of my pride, because I want to see it a certain way. I think like, oh, I should have, I'm like you, like, oh, I got all these followers, I should have all this money, and it should be coming from here, 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 and here, and I'm like, but it's not. So what's up? But it's not, God. Where we at? What we doing? But, you know, and like you said, it's just a matter of owning your own stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, accountability, like, okay, what do I need to do? Because I'm like you, like sometimes, even this morning, I said, God, I need to get off social media for a little bit. Like I keep feeling this urgent to kind of fall back a little bit because I'm like, I can feel that my content is not like, it's true to me, but at the same time, it's not like I'm doing it more for the people.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't ever want to get in that position where I'm doing it for them and not God. So I just said that this morning, like, so that was even in me, like telling myself, like, humble yourself. Like, don't let this following get to your mind. You know, you got to influence, but I want you to use the influence for the right way and the right reason, not just anyway. So yeah. So yeah. But so this is a very open, raw, real, honest conversation. So I hope like none of these questions are offending you or whatever.
Good.
But like, what do you feel like, you know, you still need to work on when it comes to like being prideful versus humility?
Trust.
What,
like,
God?
Yep.
Yeah.
That like the position I'm in right now, I have to trust God. Like I literally, my job is Instagram and TikTok.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, and I do a little, like if somebody want to take some pictures or something, I'll do that on the side. But if they wouldn't even know me if I hadn't been talking about God. And I'm like, all right, I just got to trust that if God has taken care of me this long, even whenever it start looking a little cloudy, like he's still going to make sure that I'm good, you know?
Yeah.
That's probably the hardest thing because like, I'm like, all right, you know, God, you taking your time right now. You're right. But
Facts.
so,
Like, what's up?
try not to just do everything on my own and like stretch myself in too many places to where I'm not being used, I'm being abused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So how do you feel like when God is stretching you and your trust and your faith and your patience, like how do you feel like he's humbling you at the same time?
About the people that I meet along the journey, like I meet people all the time that's like, man, I was just about to take my life and I watched your video and it like, it just saved me, whatever. Like having people say stuff like that, I'm like, man, I think I got it bad. This person was literally about to, end it. And I'm like, here you are living in this like apartment in Houston, Texas. And somebody was on my TikTok live earlier today and she was like, I've been sleeping in my car for like 2 days and I haven't had any food, whatever. Could you please send me money? I'm like, that's so crazy. Like just the experiences of other people knowing that somebody actually does have it worse, even though it not negating that your situation isn't, bad, so to speak, but somebody does have it worse than you.
Absolutely. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And like that will definitely humble you.
Like, yeah. Yes.
Seriously. Because I mean, people send me messages. I mean, you have to of course use discernment.
Right.
People send me messages and things that tug on my heart. It's like when I see like people struggling and like on the street and people treat them so bad, you know what I'm saying? Because they ain't where they think they should be or whatever. But I'm saying all that to say like those are truly humbling experiences. Yep. So and as far as like you trusting God in this season, like you said earlier, I think you said this earlier when you said like being able to, you don't have anybody else to trust but God, something along those lines. I believe you said like that too will humble you because like it's like like let me swallow my pride, like. And I'm not speaking of you, but it's like, I ain't got no money right now. I ain't got no job. And, I don't have a choice but to trust you guys. So whatever you want to do in my life, let me humble myself so that I can do it. And I won't ever be like haughty or looking down on other people because of this. So that's good stuff. So, well, how do you feel like you're working on becoming humbler? Like,
accepting that God can say no. Like we'd be like,
oh my God.
like God ain't answering my prayer. God's not answering. Yes, he answered it. He just didn't say yes. You know, and a lot of people don't want to accept that and they don't believe that. But sometimes when God says no, every time that God says no, it's not for him to show you anything. It's not for you to show him anything. It's for him to show you exactly who you are. Like the way that you react to God saying no is a dictation of how you view him as a leader. So if you want this opportunity, you want this job, whatever. For me, like I was applying for jobs like crazy, probably applied to 100 jobs. Not a single one of them like responded with anything positive. And I'm like, why would, like, man, I'm trying so hard to get a job so I can work. You know, I'm like, God, I'm trying to work. I don't want to be lazy. And I feel like that no is because God is like, how much do you actually trust that I'm going to take care of you?
Ooh.
So, you know, we often don't view God as great of a leader as we say that we, oh God, I trust you. All my trust is in you. All right, if you trust me, I'm going to put you in this position where you have to.
Absolutely.
And yeah. And it's not for God to see, it's for you to see.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think that's where a lot of Christians tend to fall, because we say, you know, oh yeah, I love God, I trust God, but yet we don't walk that walk. You know what I'm saying? I always say people have faith to an extent. I say that because I'm like, until you're tested and God say, okay, leave your job. You really trust me, and you trust that I'm going to sustain you. You trust what's in my word. You trust these promises. Then walk away from your job. Let me see how much you really trust me. Let me put you through a season of humility, like straight up. Because I really think that that's what we have to get to, that point of the lowest of the low, so that we can get so humble. So we know to trust God. So we know, like, we can't rely on anyone else or anything else, because relying on the world will cause your pride to puff up. Big facts. And so when you have nothing else, it's like God literally puts you in that season of humility. Like the Holy Spirit is really like telling me that right now. Like, I guess I'm talking to myself. Okay, God, I heard you. But like, he puts you in a space of just humility, like, and it's like wilderness, so to speak, but you really just being humble, so your heart can be in the right posture, so your heart can be in the right place, so that as God elevates you, your pride don't take over. Man, I'm preaching to myself, girl.
You preaching to me too.
Preaching, listen. All right, so do you find it difficult to confess or apologize, or confess when you're wrong, or, you know, ask someone to forgive you? Yeah, those questions. Like, do you find it difficult with that?
Literally this month, I just like humble myself, like that aspect. But I used to, though. Like, and it wasn't even that I was like, I won't apologize. It was that I would apologize. I'd be like, I'm sorry, but I'm sorry that you thought about, I'm sorry that it came off that way. No, like, just say, like, I'm sorry. And me, you know, I try to always make an excuse for why that person thought that what I did was wrong, but it wasn't, you know. And like, even confessing my sins, you know, confess your sins one to another and then you may be healed. When I was confessing my sins to other people, I would tell them part of the thing and not the whole thing, and then I'm wondering why I'm still going through it. It's like, because your pride is so big that you don't want to even tell them what actually happened.
I'm telling you, that accountability, that like, real talk, when you have to start owning your own stuff, like, you, man, it'll make you be like, okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't care what I did. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I was wrong. Listen, God took me through. I had to actually, I used to have a hard time saying I'm sorry. Like, I used to have a hard time saying, like, forgive me, you know, I did you wrong, whatever. And sometimes I still do, but I remember God told me that he wanted me to, he had me going through like a season of forgiveness. like, and forgiving those who've hurt me and things of that nature. I've never been one to hold on to things, grudges and all that stuff. Like, I've always been quick to forgive. And I'm just like, okay, God, as you elevate me, I want to know, bring to light whatever I need to work on, whoever I need to forgive, you know, examine my heart. And he told me that I needed to reach out to my family and apologize to them and forgive them for just like, so I'm the only one in my family that chases God the way that I do. Like, not saying that they don't believe in God. Some of them don't, but I ain't knocking them. But, you know, whatever. I'm the only one that go hard like I do. And so I know that they, you know, talked about me, they mocked God, you know what I'm saying? So whatever. But I had to literally, like, that was like hard for me. Like, that was one of those moments that I really had to sit down and take a piece of humble pie and say, you know what? Even though you didn't necessarily, you don't feel like you did anything wrong, you know, God is telling you, do this so you can elevate and go higher. And so I had to, that was one of those difficult times that I really had to say, okay, I'm sorry. And, you know, so, you know, and I say all that to say, like, we all deal with pride. Like, this is not a knock against anyone. This is not like alive to, like, come against you or make you feel bad because you may be prideful. That's why I told you, like, if anything I ask you, if you feel like the questions are too invasive or whatever, or you don't want to talk about it, or you hadn't told that story yet, or you ain't comfortable telling it, then just let me know. But
I'm good.
Okay, cool.
And I feel like I don't want to talk about that, it's probably pride talking, so I need to talk about it.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. He is not gonna come into this live. Not So do you feel like you have a difficult time now that you're being more aware, or you're becoming more alert and aware of seeing things from God's eyes, through God's lens? Do you feel like you see now when other people around you are being prideful, and do you have a problem with, like, telling them that they're being prideful or bringing it to the light?
Yeah, definitely. Did you say have a problem telling them that?
Yeah.
Yes, 100%.
You have a
100.
problem with telling them they being prideful?
Yes, because
Why?
kind of like a alternate identity where I'm like, well, I am who I am, but I also don't want them to get mad. And I'm like, there you go, you're trying to please people. Like, you can't please everybody and please God at the same time. Because if I want to help all the people that I'm talking about, I want to help, I'm going to have to tell somebody that they prideful and, you know, expect the same in return if I'm being prideful. So, yeah, I got, like, yes, I definitely have a problem with that, for sure. Yeah.
Wow. So, but okay, like you keep saying, you know, that scripture, I know you know it, but for those that don't read the Bible, you know, that scripture, you can't please God in the world. Like, you know, that's an enemy of when you pleasing, I ain't quoting it verbatim, but when you pleasing the world, you're an enemy of God.
Right.
Along those lines, right? And so with you having a difficult time, do you feel like these are people that may not necessarily be meaning to go forward with you because you don't want to say it, but you know that's a conversation that needs to be had. But do you feel like they're going to reject you? Because I know you mentioned earlier that you didn't necessarily like rejection. You used to didn't like it, and so do you feel like they're gonna reject you, or you feel like that they may think now you better than because you got these followers or whatever and whatever.
That.
Like, what are your thoughts?
The second part, like, I be feeling sometimes like if I call somebody out for something, especially knowing, you know, like, you can turn on your phone and you may see one of my videos, and I know obviously all of my friends and stuff, like, it's probably somebody in here that, like, they don't like all of my stuff. Understand? Yeah. I probably would get tired of seeing me too, but like, now they know who I am and like what I represent, and I feel like they would think that I'm trying to be better than them by calling them out on something that I can notice. And they're like, oh, you think since you blah, 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 this big Christian influencer, you think that you can just tell everybody whatever you want and say whatever you want about people. That's most of the time. That's why.
Have you gotten that from like your people, your friends and stuff?
I haven't. And I'm like, if you haven't gotten it, then like, what are you so afraid of?
I mean, but what are you afraid of? That's a good question. I'm asking you, like, what are you afraid of? Because if you either you're gonna choose God or you're gonna choose the world. There is no in between. So if you saying God use me, choose me, send me, right? I don't know what your prayers are, but I'm sure He using you in a large capacity. But yet I'm afraid of telling people this, and that. How will He continue to use you? How will He continue to elevate you?
You're right. You're right. See,
Listen, I get it because mine always come with like it's either me or my family, right? And so mine came. I was always like I've always been the one to kind of stand out in my family, right? And so, but I have like visions and dreams. Like I have a strong gifting in prophetic and discernment, like, and I just know spirits. I can feel it. I see through my spiritual eyes, and I see things. I know things, but I always minimized myself because my family didn't, see it. They didn't believe it. Whatever. My mom was like, I don't want to hear about dreams and all that kind of stuff. So I never really talked about it much. And when God started to elevate me, it was like I had the same, like our stories are so similar because I had the same thoughts. And I was just like, God was like, one day He tells me to send out a prayer request to my family, like in the group chat or whatever, send out a prayer request, praying for my mom.
Yeah.
And I actually saw my mom in like a snake trying to go through her body. So I knew it was like an attack was trying to come. So I was like, this was like and I just saw the word now, like big and bold. And I was like, we need to pray. And so I sent out a prayer request to my family, and it wasn't receptive. Like people didn't say anything back, because they don't know how to receive it, whatever. But this was like my first time really like being bold for God, because I was just like, I can't keep minimizing myself, but yet I'm asking God to use me. And then, but I'm like you, like, well, what if they don't like it? What if they don't, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, so anyway, I ended up sending it out, and they didn't really respond. And one of my sisters, who is into like the spiritual world, like she's into like the yoga and the crystals and the rocks and all that kind of stuff, right? And so, she's like, oh, I would just appreciate it if you didn't include me on these messages. And I'm just like, first of all, I'm asking you to pray for our mom. Like, what's the problem? But anyway, that wasn't nothing but the devil. But anyway, and for a minute I said, you know what? Okay, I just won't include you anymore. I'll just take you off, whatever. And I'm sorry.
You good.
But I was like, I take you off. But then God just immediately got on me, and He's like, that's not what I told you to do. I told you to send the message to your family. And if I give you a message to send to your family, then that's what you need to do. I didn't ask you to take anybody off. I didn't ask you to, whatever. So I'm saying all that to say, like, He actually tested me again in that area, and I had to do it. I had to send the message. And when I did it the second time, I was just like, you know what? I don't even care. I don't care what they think. Because I'm just like, at this point, I've moved during there a whole million states away from home. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I am not about to miss what God has for me just because I'm too afraid of, or thinking a certain way. And I'm thinking like, I was in that space where I didn't want to have those difficult conversations or have that talk because of people thinking that I'm judging them, or, and it's like I was afraid. I was afraid, and I'm just being honest, but I had to get past it because I was just like, I really don't care what people think about me. I really don't, legit. So what I'm saying? Like, I would hope that you can get to that space as well. Because there are going to be moments where God uses you, and you're going to have to tell people, listen, you're being prideful. You need to humble yourself, and you're going to have to like suck it up, buttercup, and like real talk. So, I don't know if that helped you a little bit, but because sometimes sharing, when you hear other people's stories and you know that they kind of go through the same thing and y'all kind of share that, then it actually helps you get through it the next time better, right? So anyway, so do you feel like you have a lot of friends who currently struggle a lot in this area with pride?
100%. Like, it's the craziest. It's the craziest stuff. Like, not to say that my pride was better than theirs or anything, but they're seeing the difference that, like, the pride that they deal with and the pride that I dealt with. Like, pride comes in so many different forms, and I'm like, how could you even? In my head, I'm like, how could you even be prideful about something like that? Like, it's the smallest things. Like, I had a phone call with one of my friends earlier today, and we just had a conversation, and we were talking, and she was telling me about this experience that somebody in her family had, and she's like, why would that ever bother you? Like, and understanding that everybody is not on the same level as you, but not to condemn anybody because you weren't always on the level that you're on. So, yeah, I do have a lot of friends that deal with that.
So, with you knowing that, like, that's the thin line, you know what I'm saying? That's the thin line. Like, are you going to continue to allow, you see certain things and you don't speak up on it? Or are you going to, you know what I'm saying, start speaking up on it? Like, I'm asking you, what you going to do?
I got to speak up. Since it's been addressed, like, I definitely needed this conversation because it's just crazy. Like, some of the stuff that you said, and a lot of people don't think that, like, I'm willing to listen to anything. Now more than ever, I'm like tuned in to almost everything, everybody. Like, I don't ever neglect anybody's opinion or try to make them feel like, oh yeah, I'm this person now. What you can say isn't worthy to me. I'm like listening to everybody because 2 years ago I was a teenager. Like, I still got the rest of life, if God says so. And I'm like, some of the stuff that you said, it's like, okay, like, it couldn't be more obvious that God wanted me to have this conversation.
Well, thank you, Lord. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. It's called Wednesday Wisdom for a reason.
Yeah.
But I'm glad to know that, like, you're actually taking in some of what I'm saying. And I'm actually taking in what you're saying as well. So don't ever think that just because you're young, like, you don't have a message to give. So don't ever minimize yourself. Like, I'm coming out of that, so don't.
Right. Okay.
But so now, like, with you growing in your relationship with God, do you feel like since you have a lot of friends, you said that fall into that pride category, and I'm sure we all do, but do you find it's difficult to be around them more now?
Yes, and I feel like that's why God isolated me from them. Like, I'm in Houston, Texas. I don't have any, like, biological family here. I have 2 friends, and I feel like God separated me from a certain group of people to put me around another group of people to show me, like, because it's things that they do, and I'm just in awe. Like, wow, like, you actually, whether it be the stuff that they listen to or what they watch and how they pray, how they talk to God, the things that they say. I'm like, oh, you actually do that? Where I'm from and the people that I was surrounded with, it's like we listen to anything, watch anything, talk any type of way, wear whatever you want to. Like now when I go around that type of environment, those people, I love them to death, but and then after that, but like I just don't even feel comfortable in that environment anymore because it's not my setting. It's not what God wants me around.
Yeah, it's not where you're going.
Right.
It's who you used to be, and now you're growing. And somebody in the comments said isolation is heavy. Like, and I agree, because I truly believe that's why God brought me here.
Yeah.
To Wisconsin, like, to get away from certain things and certain people. Like, I had already gone through the phase of, getting certain friends and whatever out of my life. But yeah. I think mine was, you need to separate yourself from your family. And so yes. He put me in that season of isolation as well. And I'm like you, like I have, people always say it's more for you than there are against you. And I'm like, well, where they at?
Exactly.
Because I want people, Can we read together? Can we pray together? I need people that can pray over me, for me, with me. Like, sometimes I get tired of pouring out all the time. But, yeah. Like, God lead. But at the same time, I know that I'm in a space where God got me isolated for a reason. You know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, I'm glad you spoke on that, because then now you being isolated, that helps you to see like what you used to do.
Yeah.
Like, and now you've been around them. So when you go around them, do you tend to judge them?
I haven't been around them. I haven't been around them yet, so no.
So like, no, because you haven't been around, or no, because you don't.
No, because I haven't been around, but also, like, you know, obviously everybody has social media, but I don't even like the avenue that they are on with social media. Most of them are on like Snapchat and stuff. I don't have Snapchat to see it, because I just felt like God was telling me, like, you need to get rid of that too, because the people that you had on there, they may entice that lifestyle again, and that's not for you. Like, I even downloaded it again, like a few days ago when I graduated, and I was like, let me delete this. That just don't feel right. It's just not. It's not me.
Yeah, and you'll notice the more you grow, especially being isolated, you'll notice, like, you know what I'm saying, it's just certain things, and it's not that you're being judgmental, it's not that you condemning them or you criticizing them for where they are, it's just you're not there anymore. Like, right. And it's just, the more God elevates you, the more you're going to have to separate. And I'm sure you know that. But anyway, so tell me, what are your thoughts on this statement? How are you on time? You good?
I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, cool. So what are your thoughts on this statement? Not all pride is bad. It can be good. Good pride is healthy. It's a positive attitude towards yourself and your life. But when you, it's a thin line between arrogance and confidence.
Mm-hmm.
So what are your thoughts on the not all pride is bad?
I actually never heard that before, but pride is, this is one of the things that I've dealt with, like the idea of it, because, you know, I would always have this thought, like, God, is it bad for me to be proud of myself? Like, you know, if I did something, I know I worked hard for it and I got the result that I wanted. Is that prideful for me to be proud? You know? So
what answer did you receive?
I can't tell you that I was listening to receive an answer. I was just like, hey, asking it out, and then like, okay, whatever, it's not good. Like
I was hoping you could give me one.
I'm gonna ask my mentor tonight, because I'm talking about somebody that if he was born back then, he probably would have been in the body. Like, I can ask him, hey, where can I go to? He like, go to Mark, blah 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 blah, and you know, he a great mentor. So I'm gonna ask him and see what he has to give me about it. But I haven't. I mean, I wasn't even listening to.
At least you're honest.
Yeah.
Listen, because I've asked that too, because I'm just like, how do you draw that line of arrogance and confidence? Like, I feel like I'm very confident in myself, and when I do things that I feel I should be proud of, I'm proud of myself.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be. I want to always remain humble. So I really wanted to know the answer, and you didn't have one. So sorry. Well, let me know what your mentor says, because I would love to hear that for sure. Like, how can we draw the line without being too prideful, but then at the same time, you're not being too humble? Is there such a thing as being too humble?
I think so. Because true humility is lowering yourself so that you can raise God up. And sometimes you can lower yourself so much that you like diminish yourself, like, because you're trying to be humble. And this is one thing that I was taught, and this is the way that I understand humility. Being humble is not thinking less of yourself, it's thinking of yourself less. So I feel like that being too humble is thinking less of yourself.
Well, that's true. So then, because when you think less of yourself, that's like you, what's the word I'm looking for? You don't really believe in yourself. You know what I'm saying? So, but that's not necessarily, because I read and I have the notes. It says pride is often rooted in deep insecurity, fear, and feelings of unworthiness. So if you are humbling yourself that much, is that a form of pride?
Yes.
You see what I'm saying?
Yes, insecurity. You're not secure in who you are and who God called you to be and created you to be. You want to lower it so much. A lot of times I get a compliment in high school and stuff, and I wouldn't know how to accept it. Even now, I still struggle with that. And I feel like one of the reasons God has blessed me with this platform is to learn how to deal with that area of pride in my life. Like, whenever somebody compliments me on something, I'm like, oh, no, like, I don't accept it. It's like, it's okay to accept a compliment.
It is.
Just don't put the compliment above yourself, above God, rather.
Facts. I want to know the answer to that. Like, really, seriously. So, yeah, I'm going to find out for sure. But, all right. So tell me, if you could go back in time, if you could go back and get 3 things that were taken from you because of your pride, what would they be?
I would say I can't necessarily think of it right off the top of my head, but yeah. I'm not gonna say that this person was taken from me because of my pride, but I realized that I had pride whenever that person left. I had a really, really good friend, like a brother to me. His name was Jeff Gladney. He played for the Minnesota Vikings. Great football player, first round pick. And he passed away in a car accident last year. And whenever he was taken away, I realized how much pride I had, and it really humbled me. Like this could be you. And the person that I looked up to the most, like, to me, he was almost invincible. Like, those people can die. It was like when Kobe died. Like, you never expect somebody like that to actually pass away. And my pride was rooted in his success. And that's something that a lot of people don't ever think about. But my pride was rooted in his success from the aspect of everything that he did. I knew that I had an attachment to it because he knew who I was, and I could tell people about how successful he was because I knew that he knew me, and it caused me to feel greater than what I was by seeing him on TV and doing these great things. And I'm like, yeah, that's him, blah, blah, blah. Look, we got this video together. I was at his house on the night of the draft, whatever, and it's like you were prideful in somebody else. That's crazy.
Very. So tell me, what if somebody did you like that? How would you feel? Like if they prideful in you, and then they're like telling somebody like, yeah, I know him, I can call him, and
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like it's like a showpiece, so to speak.
I actually had an experience like that Saturday after graduation, just taking pictures with people and all that stuff, and they're like, oh my gosh, I know a famous person now, and I'm like I tell them right then, I'm like what is fame? And they're like, I'm like, everybody is famous. Fame is literally just being known. And like I try to humble them right then because I want them to put me on a pedestal that God has to take me off of. So that's one thing that I know for a fact I will address immediately. Like, no.
Well, that's good. Mm-hmm. So you named one thing. So is that all you could think of as far as something that you know has been taken away because of your pride? Your blessings.
I think so. I think that's the only thing that I can think of. No. Not the fact that my last, like, not the concept of us having to split up in my last relationship, but losing that person as a friend, I guess, because of my pride. Like, I was so proud. And looking back on it, I'm like, boy, if I could go back, I would slap you upside the, like, I would just, because it was a mutual thing, but I can look back at myself and see where I was wrong at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll go with 2. I'll let you pass.
Yeah. That's as much.
I'll let you pass with 2 this time.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know. Like, I got one more question. I mean, basically, like, what advice would you give to others that may be struggling in this area of pride to help them be more humble, help them, you know, grow in their relationship with God and minimize the pride?
Mm-hmm. 2 things. One is, in order to see what humility looks like and kill pride, you got to look at the cross. Like, whenever Jesus got crucified, it was level ground. Even whenever he was beside the 2 people, I know we see images where the cross is greater than the other 2 crosses that are behind it. And I understand the symbolism behind that, but the ground was level. They were all 3 right beside each other. And if Jesus could bring himself to the level of a sinner, what's stopping you from, you know, humbling yourself and taking yourself out from the place that Jesus didn't even put himself on, you know? And I feel like if you want to grow that relationship with God, you actually have to, like, develop it and think of it as a relationship. You know, I feel like a lot of people treat it like it's a rule book. Like, I got to follow it. I got to do this. If I do this, I'm not going to. And like, how do I grow my relationship with God? How do I do this? And I ask them all the time, like, how did you meet your favorite person right now? Like, your best friend. You may have asked somebody about them, found out about them. Nowadays, you can look them up on social media. It's even a book about them. Like, go read about them.
Right.
And, you know, so just humbling yourself and truly finding out who somebody is and not who the world has said that they are will always make you more humble towards that person.
Y'all catch that? That's good. That was good advice. I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I don't know. I don't have any more questions. Did you want to see if anybody else got any questions in the audience? Or
can I ask you a question?
No. Yeah, of course. What's up?
Do you ever feel like what's the like what you're doing? Like, man, am I actually, like, is this actually for me? Have you ever felt like that?
Like as far as like my purpose, or
yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that all the time. All the time. Like, God, am I doing the right thing? Like, I always want to make sure I'm pleasing God in everything that I do. So I'm always, and I think it's trying to be selective with my words because I'm so big on words. But I think the enemy tries to toy with my mind because it make me feel like I'm not doing enough, right? Or I'm not doing the right thing, or and it makes me start to question. And so, yeah, I actually, you know, I ask God all the time, like, God, am I bringing you glory? You know what I'm saying? Am I pleasing you? Am I still in your divine order? Am I still following your footsteps? Am I still, you know, I mean, no matter what, how far you go and grow, you're always going to have those doubts. Like, you're always going to question, is it enough? If I die tomorrow, will you say good and faithful servant?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Well done, you know? So, yeah, I do. I do question myself sometimes, and I question God. I know, you know, I talk to God a little different. Like, that's my best friend.
Yeah.
So I legit talk to him like he my best friend. Like, what's good? What's up? You know, but yeah, so to answer your question, I hope I answered it. Did I answer it?
You did.
Yeah.
You did.
I think we all face that though. Like, here I am in a whole nother state, And one part I didn't mention is I had to leave my child. So my oldest is in college, and then my youngest is about to be in the 5th grade. But when God first gave me the vision of that I was going to be leaving and told me I was going to be leaving, I didn't see anybody but myself. And I was like, well, where's my kid? He's like, oh, she's going to stay with her dad. And I'm like, so you want me to go to another state and leave my child? Like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So, you know, that was one of those moments, like, am I doing the right thing? You know what I'm saying? And even to this day, I'm just like, did I do right? Like, but I have such a peace with it. I know I did the right thing, but I still question it, because it's like, I'm like, who was that in the Bible? Gideon. I need like 1,000 signs.
Yeah.
God. Just show me 1,000 signs.
Yep.
But what keeps me going is knowing that, like I said earlier, just knowing that they're watching me. And so I know I'm doing right, because I can see the fruit of it being manifested in my kids' lives. So, yeah.
Well, I'm dealing with like, oh, is this actually like, I understand like the growth and all that stuff. I'm like, oh, God, is this actually what I'm supposed to be doing? Am I actually supposed to be? Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, how do you feel though? Like, in the space of where you are now, do you feel at peace? Do you feel like you're supposed to be doing this?
Yeah.
So when I was called into ministry. And I got here. So truthfully, I was called to help someone else, right? And so I get here, and the person I was to help, let me not say we, that's a lie. I was doing all the work. And I'm just like, I didn't feel right. Like, I'm like, I felt like I was supposed to do what I was supposed to do. But I'm like, I feel like when it comes from God, it's a peace that comes along with it. Yes, you may have some confusion. Yes, you may, no, not confusion, but you may, doubt it a little bit. But anyway, I was starting to feel like uncomfortable in my spirit. And I'm just like, okay, I don't think this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So the person that I was brought here to help, since I was doing all the work, I was just like, I'm not going to keep doing this. And that was one of those moments that I'm like, okay, but I came up here, you know what I'm saying, to help this person. And now, what's up? Like, what are we doing now, God? But you know what I did in that moment? Instead of focusing on, God, what's your direction? What am I supposed to be doing? I'm lost. I'm not feeling this. I just got into a space of gratitude. I just got into a space of just thankfulness, because it helped my mind stay off of God putting me on a whole new direction and a whole new path.
Yeah.
So that's how I started doing my own ministry. I'm like, well, if I could build theirs, I know I could do it myself, And so, and I was doing the business coaching anyway, but I don't even know why I just told you all of that, because I don't even know what was I saying all that for?
You asked me how I felt. You asked me how I felt.
Oh, I'm sorry. And I took over. I'm sorry. So yeah. So now I said all that to say, like, now I feel at peace again. So that's how I know I'm back in God's will for my life. So I'm asking you, I'm sorry, how do you feel?
I feel like I wake up and I'm excited to do it. Like, I'm like, let me get in the word. Like, that's what I want to do, I do feel at peace with it. And especially compared to what I was doing before, I was like dreading it every single day that I woke up. I'm like, oh, I got to do this. And even on the weekends, I'm like, I got to go back to that or whatever it was. And I can say I do feel at peace with it.
Well, that's good. So you feel like you're on the right path. You feel like you're doing the right thing as far as like, this is what you're supposed to do as far as building your social media and I guess growing your online ministry, because I mean that's what you're doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, don't.
I'm sorry.
My God. My God.
That's where I'm from. As a term of endearment and respect.
Oh, No, I get it, but no, no, like that sound like somebody. No, I'm somebody's mama, but no, but no. Anyway, so I feel like as long as you have that peace, and like God is leading you, like, and when you'll know when you step out of that though. You'll know when you step out of the peace of God. You'll know when you step out of His direction. You'll know when you step out of like the calling that's on your life. You feel it. You feel something different. You feel a shift. So as long as you feel His peace and you feel Him guiding you, do you ever feel like like He's not giving you direction?
Sometimes, but I got a revelation about that one time though. I was like, God, I just don't know where you taking me. And He like, you ain't supposed to know. Like, just follow me. You trying to figure
it's like those answers and you're like, for real, guy? Like,
yeah.
That's not the answer I was expecting.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes. And I'm like, all right, I'm following you, but and He's like, ain't no but.
right.
Like, just follow me. Yeah.
It's God or God, and that's how I've gotten in my life. Like, I'm just there. I'm like, listen, it's God or God.
Yeah.
There is no plan B. I don't have an option. I don't have any other option. It's God for me. So I'm like, God, it has to work, or it has to work, because this is my only option. You are my only option. So I need you to work. So yeah, like, but another thing that might help you, like, is just get around people that can, help you grow, help you, hold you accountable, and help you stay in their word and just stay and draw closer to God. So that'll help you on your walk too, because it gets lonely. And I always tell people, like, it's lonely. It's a lonely journey, but you're not alone.
Right.
You're not by yourself. And so one thing that I am currently I think I pray for it too much and I try to let it go, because I'll just be like, okay, Samantha, like, God gonna bring it. But I'm always praying for community. Like, because I've come out of the friends that I used to have, and now it's like, I want friends that are just like where I am. And it's like, they ain't here yet. So they ain't here yet. So, I'm still there. But find you some people that can definitely help you stay grounded, stay humble, and, stay in the word, man. So, but I mean, I'm always, if I always tell people, like, don't believe, I'm a big believer in God allows people's paths to cross for a reason. Like, I believe that wholeheartedly. It's a reason, a season, and it possibly a lifetime, not necessarily lifetime in the sense of marriage. It could be like, just like y'all supposed to be in each other's life as friends, whatever, right? And so I said that to say, like, if you ever want to reach out, like, we can definitely, I can be your accountability partner. I'll hold you to the fire, trust. Right. I will stay in your tail, believe that. Okay. So, wait. I can definitely do that.
Do you know Pastor Mike Jr.?
I don't know him, no, but I mean, I follow him, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Why?
I saw he liked one of your posts.
Mike, who we talking about?
Pastor from Rock City Church. Mike
Jr., the one that do the music?
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Oh, wow, I didn't even know that. I legit just don't pay that kind of stuff any attention.
Yeah.
Like, I have so many messages. Like, legit, I heard you saying it on your TikTok the other day. Like, the messages, and it'd be like, it'll be somebody like me, like, here 5 minutes ago, but they go so fast, and I'm just like, I don't have time to look at all of that stuff. I just always thank God, like, God, whatever, however you're using me, thank you. And whoever see it, like the other day, the very first post that actually made me go viral, Viola Davis, you know who that is?
Yes.
She liked it and she commented on it. And I was like, oh my God, like that was the moment. That was that moment that I had to humble myself, like, girl, come down. Don't get too, don't, you know what I'm saying? Like she just, and this is what I tell myself when people like that follow me or like me or whatever. I always be like, they just a person just like you. They're just a regular person just like you. They might have a little bit more money, but they're a regular person just like you. And that keeps me humble because I'm just like, don't ever let that fame, don't ever let that fortune get to your face. Don't ever let it get to your head and mind, thinking that you better than because you got this and you got that. So, and then she was the first one, but then also just recently, she actually liked another one of my posts. And I was like, okay, that's dope. And I was like, Samantha, God, you dope. You dope. Let me give my credit to God, you know. So, but no, to answer your question, no, I didn't notice that he liked it. Like,
Okay. Yeah, I just had to ask that. That's all.
No, like honestly, like that stuff just legit don't even faze me. Like, and I'm not even being funny when I say that. I tell myself that. See, that's one of those moments where you're like, is it humility or is it, you know what I'm saying, arrogance or confidence? Because I'm like, I'm proud of myself. I'm proud of the growth. I'm proud. I'm happy that God has blessed me with the following that He's blessed me with.
Right.
But it's like, do I get excited about it? You know what I'm saying? Do I be proud of myself for it? Or do I like humble myself? Like, I don't know. Like, because I just feel like when I get too proud, then it's just, I don't know. I don't know how to put it in words, but I'm trying to grasp the following myself right now. Like, you know, it's growing like nonstop. So
feel that.
So anyway, but yeah, so you want to ask me anything else?
Not that I can think of off the top of my head. If I do, I'll message you though.
Yeah, for sure, definitely. Yeah, I mean, and if you ever want to just, if you need to talk about something or you need some advice or if I need some, listen, I will be.
I got you.
Hey, don't let my message go down to the bottom. You know, I'm like, I knew you when you was at 60-something thousand. Okay.
I got you.
But yeah, so tell everybody, you know, all the platforms they can find you on, how to follow you, and all that good stuff.
Obviously, y'all can find me on here, the Jason Jackson Jr., but also on TikTok as Jason Jackson Jr. _. And also, if you want to message me or you got a question or something, you can try to, like, you can DM, but it ain't. There's no guarantee that I'll get back to you. So if it's actually like important and you feel like it's worthy of being responded to, because some of y'all just be, you know, email me and I will get back to you as soon as I can.
Do they have your email?
Yes, it's in my bio. Email is in my bio.
Okay, cool. So, all right, y'all, follow the Jason Jackson Jr. Sorry, put that emphasis on the. Okay, because that's the man. But anyway, follow him. Make sure you like it. Go follow him on. Is it follow on TikTok?
Yeah.
People follow you?
Yeah.
Okay, so follow on Instagram. Follow on TikTok, y'all. If anybody in the somebody say your DMs are flooded. But if anybody has any questions or whatever, you know, whatever. But so I enjoyed the talk, man. It was real good. Thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you guys are not following me, you can definitely follow me on here on Instagram. I'm Samantha J. West. On YouTube, make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel. It is Samantha J. West on YouTube, and then Facebook on Samantha J. West as well. So Samantha J. West across all platforms. But yeah, Jason, let's do it again sometime, man. Like I'm serious about, you know, if you ever need to talk or whatever, like, and I ain't trying to get in your DMs like that. I ain't trying to get, God gave me a vision about you. No. Like, I'm being so for real. Like, I feel like we mess up so many like relationships that could be like not like relationship on that level, but like friendships or whatever, because we start thinking of is it, you know, women and men do it.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like, yeah, if you ever want to connect or if you ever need anything, just let me know. I'm like you. Don't send me a DM, because I promise you, I will not check it.
I got you.
I'm too full. So anyway, y'all, good talk. I appreciate you guys. It was amazing. So I'll be back next Wednesday, 6:30 Central Standard Time. I appreciate you. Love you to life. Jason, thank you so much. Have a good evening.
Thank
Bye.
you. You
All right,
too.
you're welcome. Bye.